right, Julie, our next guest says the numbers reinforce her forecast for a slow but consistent growth path. Constance Hunter is the chief economist at Aladdin Capital Management. During her career, she has been a hedge fund manager as well as a portfolio manager for Solomon Smith Barney. She joins us now here on set. Constance, welcome to Bloomberg News. Good to have you back.
Thanks.
These numbers are very sobering, but they did beat estimates, as our Dominic Chu just said. But I see there's but lingering there. They beat estimates, but.
Well, they beat estimates, and so it means the Fed probably isn't going to do quantitative easing in September. So the Treasury market reacted pretty strongly to that.
Yes, about 2.74 on the 10-year,
Yeah, but still, we need private sector jobs growth of 200 to 250,000 a month just to recover the 7+ million jobs that were lost, and that's going to take 3 years at that rate. Now, you can imagine at a 100,000 rate, that's a much longer path.
Right.
So we're still looking at what we call below trend growth. There's still going to be an output gap. So 1.7 to 2% growth is what we're expecting, and this payroll number is consistent with that.
But with that path that you're talking about, does that then kind of allay fears of a double-dip recession? We've been hearing that for months now. Yeah,
we haven't been thinking that there's going to be a double dip. I mean, certainly there were risks of a double dip, but that wasn't our base case forecast. That wasn't how we saw things unfolding. However, as your previous segment pointed out, 1.5–2% growth feels really uncomfortable to a lot of people. So the fact that it technically isn't a double dip is kind of immaterial for people who are collecting food stamps. The problem also with this period of unemployment is that people are being unemployed for longer. So the average time people are unemployed is 35 weeks. Previously, it was about 2022 in really bad recessions. So it's people are unemployed for longer. That also impacts them.
What are you hearing in terms of a second stimulus? I was just mentioning to our chief Washington correspondent, Peter Cook, that Laura Tyson had an op-ed in the Times last weekend. She said perhaps a second stimulus is needed. Is that what you're hearing?
You know, I think what we're hearing from Washington is the repeal of the Bush tax cuts, extending them and not letting them expire. And the big question is those over 250,000. And what does that? There's a lot of debate now. What does that really do to stimulate the economy? You know, are these people the people that own small businesses and would therefore, you know, use some of that money, be able to hire people then if they weren't getting their taxes increased? Or just on a more mundane level, you know, a lot of people over $250,000 employ people in their home, whether it's a cleaning person, a nanny, a gardener, something like that. Those people may see their jobs cut if that tax bracket gets their taxes increased. And
speaking of employment, you've heard talk, as I'm sure you have, of perhaps a payroll tax holiday. Would that spur small businesses to hire more?
I think the issue not for small business, medium-sized businesses, and big businesses is they just don't know what the landscape is going to be like. We have a lot of uncertainty because of the health care bill. You know, I think everybody is concerned that taxes are going to go up. I think what would be helpful for businesses and for hiring is a program that says, look, this is what it's going to be for the next 10 years. This is your tax rate. This is how much health care is going to cost you. But
Constance, is that uncertainty about policy over Washington what's driving these fears?
I think it's a lot of it. I think it certainly contributes to it. When you have uncertainty in the economy and then you have uncertainty in your business and landscape, from a legislative perspective, I think it adds to an environment of uncertainty, and it certainly retards job addition and job growth.
All right, Constance Hunter, Managing Director, Chief Economist, Aladdin Capital Management, joining us on site. Constance, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.